Hey, welcome to day number 160 in our journey through the Bible. Route 66. We're in the middle of Job. This is going to be, chapter 29 through 31 is the last of Job's speeches. Job and his three friends have been having a conversation. Tomorrow we'll pick up on a fourth guy that happened to be there, and he's going to say a few things. But everybody's got something to say, don't they? But let's see what Job finishes up with in chapter 29. First of all, in 29, Job remembers the good old days. I don't know if you do. Sometimes you remember the good old days, but the good old days, we kind of don't remember them really the way they really were, just what we want to remember. But anyway, he calls the former days when God was blessing him and everything was going good. He was respected. He was prosperous. He cared for the needy. It was a time where life was going good. And he remembers back on that. And he can't figure out what happened to my life. Job chapter 30, he describes the suffering that he's going through. In contrast to the good old days, Job is going through a hard time. His affliction, he's being mocked and made fun of instead of being respected. He feels abandoned by God instead of blessed by God. He's overwhelmed with pain, physically and emotionally. As good as the good days were, the bad days were bad. In chapter 31, he gives a final defense of his integrity. He makes some strong moral declarations, stating that he's lived a life of integrity. He's never claimed to be sinless, but he's claimed to be living the life that he ought to be living. He lists several areas where he could have sinned: lust, deceit, pride, injustice, greed, idolatry, hatred. He could have gone into these areas, but he didn't. He avoided them. He lived the right kind of life. And he ends it with appealing to God to examine him. Look at me and see what I've done. Judge me. I am willing to face your judgment. And God judges true. So some lessons that we can learn in this. One, God's favor is not always measured by circumstances. Never think that because everything's going good, God thinks you're living the right life. And never think that just because everything's going bad, God's disappointed in you. No, don't worry. Your circumstances have little to do, maybe a little bit, but have little to do with your relationship with God. In good times and bad, make sure that your relationship with God is right. Your integrity with him is right. A second lesson, it's possible to walk in integrity even in secret. That's part of what integrity is living the right kind of life, but not showing it off. That's what Jesus condemned the Pharisees for, was letting their good works show, to do things so that other people could see how good they were on the inside. And sometimes it's possible to live a godly life and your relationship with God, and people don't recognize that. Avoid outward sins. Don't do those things. Guard your heart. Don't delve into those things. Live the right life. Whether people recognize it or not, be right with God. That's the way Job was. And a third, it is right and it is good to bring your burdens and your case honestly to God. I think this is over and over what Job is trying to do. And we're not exactly for sure why God held off so long, but it just reminds us that he may do that for us as well. Job longs for God to hear him. He's even laying it out now, what he wants to share about God and tell God about. And God welcomes our honest cries. He wants us to be honest with him, even when we're confused, even when we almost want to challenge him, which is what Job is doing. It is okay to have that conversation with God. And I think the reason why you do talk with God like that is you trust him. You don't understand him, but you trust him. So that's a good lesson. It's right and it's good to bring your case to God. So we're ending up with Job, and we'll be finding out what Elihu